Konnichiwa everybody, welcome back. It's been a while. So, clues in the title, we've got a pickups video. Everybody seems to be moaning there's no pickups videos. I haven't stopped doing them really. I'm almost catching up with my pickups. I've said before I've got way behind with them. I think another couple and I'll be back on track. However, we've got a bit of a mixed bag today. So, there's no particular order. We'll just mix it up. I'll just say in the background we've got Wave Runner, which is an old Sega arcade game. Right, first up we've got Famicom, I think, and the first one we've got is Fantasy Zone, which obviously it's a Sega game, so it's kind of weird to have it on the Famicom really, but it's another one of these which is a bit individual on the Famicom. You've got a Sunsoft embossed cartridge. I'll put some footage up for most of these, all being well. I mean, it's Fantasy Zone. As you might expect, it's not as bright as the Master System version. It's a lot more subdued palette, as you'd expect on the Famicom. But it's still a good game of Fantasy Zone. Not bad at all. Then next up, again on Famicom, we've got Image Fight. Now again, as you can see, this is another individual style Irem cart this time. Quite nice condition this one, aside from the fact that the label's on slightly crooked, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, this is a vertical shooter. Obviously it's quite basic being an old shooter. But it's not a bad little game, to be honest. Image Fight. You can get it on more modern platforms, obviously. It's on the Saturn, isn't it? But yeah, chuffed to get it, really. Another little addition to the Famicom library. I do like expanding on the Famicom Rainbow. And then the last Famicom game I picked up was this one. This is just a regular cartridge, a nice like minty green colour, and this is Chucker Tyson, or Cloudmaster, as you might more commonly know it by, on the Master System again. Really like Cloudmaster on the Master System, and this is equally good, I think. Really nice game. I'd like the PC Engine version. But that's mega pricey, so I'll make do with that on the EverDrive. However, chuffed to get the Famicom version. That's Cloudmaster. Really good. Definitely recommend checking that out if you like Cloudmaster. Right, now everybody's picked this up, so I did as well, obviously. I loved Breath of the Wild, so I had to pick up Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, it's still brilliant, don't get me wrong. It's just enormous. The game is massive, from what I can tell, and I just haven't got the time to invest. It's just finding it overwhelming. It's brilliant, but I haven't got as much time as I had when I played Breath of the Wild, to be fair. So, without that time to invest in this, I'm struggling, you know, to get into it, and maybe I'll go back to it one day, I don't know, but at the minute I've kind of left it alone, just because it's so overwhelming and daunting and massive. But it's amazing what they've done with it. It's just the thought of trying to do it all is just putting me off, really. To be honest, I'm just happier running around, going where I fancy and doing the shrines. That's what I like best about Breath of the Wild as well, really. So I can see myself doing that in future on this. But regarding completing it, I can't see it, to be honest. I think Breath of the Wild is the one and only Zelda completion for me. Then the next one, we've got a PS4 game. Nothing particularly special about it, but it's just a steelbook I managed to find in CEX, so I replaced my standard version with this nice steelbook. It's in nice condition, but it's a lovely orange colour. I don't know who that is on the back actually. Oh, it's Peter Solberg. But yeah, it was. I always look out for the steelbooks in CEX, and anything that I fancy or I've got a standard version of, I'll upgrade it to the steelbook if I see it, because that's being the same price in CEX, you can't go wrong, can you? So chuffed to have that one. Right, what shall we do next? I think we'll do. Yeah, this is another CEX purchase actually. I ordered this online. I've been keeping my eye out for this for ages and ages, and it's one I've meant to add for some time. Just never got round to it. Never seen it in a local CEX, and it was 15 quid on the website for all the time I'd been watching it for months and months. But then all of a sudden it dropped down to 8 quid, and the PS3 version is still 15 quid, or might be more possibly. Anyway, I thought, well, it's 8 quid, I've got to take a punt on a online lottery, which I did, and I've picked up Midway Arcade Origins, and I've really looked out with this one because it's in absolutely mint condition. It's like brand new. So for 10 quid with the postage, chuffed to bits with this one. Obviously it's a collection of old Midway Arcade games on the 360. I've not got ready to try it yet, it's only come this morning. But there are 30 plus games apparently, according to the back of the box, but there's some real belters. I'll run through them quick. On the back of the box, you've got Joust, Defender, Rampage, Total Carnage, Gauntlet, 720, APB, Arch Rivals, Bubbles, Championship Sprint, Tournament Cyberball, Defender 2, Gauntlet 2, Joust 2, Marble Madness, Pit Fighter, there's got to be a turd amongst them, isn't there? Rampart, Robotron, which is amazing, Root Beer Tapper, again, fantastic game, Satan's Hollow, Sinistar, Smash TV, awesome, Spy Hunter 1 and 2, Super Off-Road, Super Sprint, Tubing, another classic little kind of racing game, Vindicators 2, Wizard of War, Xenophobe and Zybots. Can't go wrong for the money, can you? So, chuffed when it came in the condition it did, to be honest. And then on a similar vein, this is another CX online roulette. I didn't bother filming either of these because, you know, they were quite modern, so I thought there's not much jeopardy. It's just if they've got a manual or not. So anyway, I've also picked up Nano Stray on the DS. This is currently 8 quid in CEX, I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's 8, same as the Midway game on the Xbox. And they won't think, if you want that Midway game on the Xbox, there aren't many in stock at CEX. Might be half a dozen or so, so you might want to jump on that should you want it. This is another one, like I say, 8 quid. It's probably double or more than that on eBay. So again, I took a punt on the online lottery because I've never seen it in a local CEX. Again, I don't think there's much more than sort of 6 or 10 in stock online. But chuffed again, it came complete. And if you didn't know, this is like a shooter on the DS. There's also a sequel which I would like to track down. That's quite a bit more money. That's about 30 quid, I think. And again, I've never seen it local. But at 8 quid, this is a winner chicken dinner all day long. Again, not tried it yet. It's only come this morning. So chuffed to grab that, and I have 2 wins out of 2, really. You know. So the next one's got to be a bad one, you'd expect. Because it's normally about 50% success rate for me. But I've got nothing else in the pipeline, so happy days. There aren't many shooters on the DS. That and the sequel being 2 of them. There's some Space Invaders ones, and there's a Jap exclusive Ketsui, but you know, as much as I'd like that, that's not cheap. So I'm not buying it. Right. I think we've got a SNES game, so we'll do that next. Now this was some time ago. I'm sure it was Nick Red 7 who showed this. I've got a feeling he showed the arcade version. I'm sure he bought the PCB. Could have been this, but he showed it anyway, and that I've never heard of it, and that put it in my mind. And I think he'd suggested the SNES version, if I remember right. I can't remember. It's been a while back, but I'm sure it was you anyway, Nick. So cheers, mate. So anyway, I've picked up Hammerin' Harry on the Super Nintendo. This is obviously in a universal game case, because I've said before, I don't buy Nintendo cardboard as much as it's beautiful. I just can't run to the money it goes for, so I bought it cart only, Famicom version. If you're not aware, this is like it's a side-scrolling platform game. I suppose you call it a platform action stroke platform beat 'em up style game, where you're controlling this dude, and you're basically running around with a massive hammer, clobbering all the enemies till you get to the end of the level, and then there's a boss. Similar format to many things, but I think it's done really well, and it's really quite a good game. I'm sure there's a Famicom version as well, if I remember correctly, so I might look out for that in the future. But you'll see from the footage, it's really quite a fun game. I'm not sure if it's Famicom only, actually. I don't think there's a PAL version. I can't remember now if there's an American version. But I think it might be Super Famicom exclusive. But nevertheless, anyway, if you can play it on emulation or whatever, it's a really fun game. I'd suggest trying that. Right, what should we do next? We've got a Mega Drive game, so we'll do the Mega Drive game. This is where my sort of collecting habits are focusing a bit at the moment, is on the Mega Drive. I've got to say, going forwards, the next one or two pickups, there's going to be some real good stuff, in particular for the Mega Drive. So, stick with it, and like I say, if you like your Mega Drive, there's going to be some good stuff coming up, because I've been really focusing on the Mega Drive. Anyway, I've picked up Wonder Boy in Monster Lair. Obviously everybody knows Wonder Boy, and I've also started putting my Mega Drive games in these box protectors, because I've had a change around up here, and I've put my Mega Drive games up here on the shelf. I thought I want to keep the dust off them, so I'll put them in box protectors. But yeah, I bought this one off eBay, and it's because I'm looking for Mega Drive shooters. This is kind of a shooter, I suppose, really. Whereas it alternates between like a platform shooting level and then a traditional sort of horizontal shooter level, riding on the back of a dragon. I'm sure you've played it. It's a very common game. But I hadn't got it, so I saw it at a decent price, and I thought, yes, I'd like to add that, because it is a particularly nice box. I think I do like the box art on this one. So that's Wonder Boy in Monster Lair. I'm sure you've seen it before. Right, what should we do next? We'll go. What should we go? We'll go Xbox 360. Now well, these are Japanese 360s. I've got to say, I should have said to start with. That first one was a PAL one. As you're probably aware, I bought a modded 360 so I could buy the Japanese shooters a while back, and I'm slowly adding to them now and again when I see them at a decent price. And the first one I picked up was Senko no Rondo Duo. Now, you might have heard me say before, I've got the PAL version of the original game, which is Wartech, and I don't like it personally. I don't think it's very good, even though it's one of the 5 shooters you can get on the PAL 360. But there was a sequel in Japan called Duo, and this is it. And I saw it at a reasonable price, and I thought, well, I'm going to take a chance. It might be better than the original, possibly. I still don't like it. However, it's a nice box. When you consider what Wartech looks like, and then what you can, when you consider why did they change the name from Senko no Rondo and box art like this to what they put on Wartech? It's where's the, you can't understand it, can you? Anyway, it's a nice attractive box. I'm not probably going to be playing it, but it's nice to add it to the collection. And like I say, it is one of the cheaper ones, but I mean it's probably cheap for a reason, to be honest. Right, then the other one I bought is a lot better. This was one of the ones I wanted before I even bought the console. This was one I'd highlighted. I'd quite fancy trying that. So I've picked up Outermedius Gorgeous. I'd already got Excellent, so I was quite keen to get this one as well, which is the first one of the two, I believe. Really good. I really like this. Obviously, it's a Konami horizontal shooter, much in the vein of Gradius and Parodius, similar kind of thing. There's some nice girly art in game and in box. Really nice looking game. It plays well, as you'll see from the footage. I really quite like this, and I think of the two, from memory, I think I prefer this one to Excellent. But it's been a while since I tried Excellent, so I can't be 100% sure, but I think this is my favourite of the two. Unfortunately, a Japanese exclusive, I think, unless it turns to American. I think there's one of them out American in there. Anyway, it's really good. Outermedius Gorgeous. So I'm chuffed with that one. Right, I think we'll go Saturn next. Now we've got 3 Saturn games. We'll go with this one first. Now, I remember having this back in the day on the Neo Geo. It's an SNK Neo Geo game, and I hadn't played it in 25 years since I first played it when it came out on the Neo CD. And then I saw it cheap on the Saturn. I thought, oh, we'll have a bash with that one. And we picked up Galaxy Fight, which is a Sunsoft game, as you can see. One-on-one fighter, but it's like a futuristic sort of alternative planet, I suppose, setting. Age hasn't been kind to this, in my opinion. It's a bit of a dog, I think, personally. Now you'll see in the footage, it looks a bit ropey. I was finding it absolutely rock hard, I've got to say. Then I happened to see another video and somebody mentioned this and they thought it was balls hard as well, so I'm glad it's not just me. It was rock hard. Couldn't even win a fight. But I don't think it looks and particularly plays that well these days. Like I say, I'm sure I remember liking it, but I'm afraid it's a bit of a fail. I'm glad I didn't pay much for it, to be honest. I might even punt it on, I don't know. I'll try it again first, but it's certainly not a winner, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it other than the novelty value of being quite a bad Neo Geo game, which, that's quite a rarity, really. Right, then next up we've got the Sega Ages Memorial Collection 1. Now this is a Jap exclusive, as Galaxy 5. No, actually, I think you can get Galaxy 5, pal, thinking about it, I think. And this is definitely Japanese exclusive, which is basically a collection of 4 old Sega arcade games. And you've got Head On, which is, I'll put some footage up just briefly of these. Head On's like a very basic, it's really early, I think it's like 79 or 80, something like that. Kind of a Pac-Man clone, but you're in a car and you've got an opponent, and you've basically got to collect all the pellets within the maze without running into the opposing car. I mean, it's good, but it's very simple, obviously you'd expect from 1980. Then you've got Pengo, which is, it's a great game in many ways. It's like a single screen arcade game from the early 80s, where you've just got to basically use the blocks to crush the other penguins within the maze. I mean, it's really good, but like an old arcade game, it's hard. Then you've got up and down, which is a kind of a driving maze style collectathon where you've got to basically collect coloured flags within the course without running into the opposing cars. Kind of, I suppose, like a 3D version of Head On in a way. Again, it's very simplistic, but it's decent fun. But then the reason I bought it was it's got Flicky on it, which is an amazing game. Obviously also on the Mega Drive. I'm not actually sure if this version is any better than the Mega Drive because I haven't played the Mega Drive in ages. However, what an amazing game Flicky is. It's just a brilliant arcade. Again, it's another collectathon really, where you're running around the platform levels collecting birds, getting to the exit without being without hitting like the other baddies within the level. Sorry. Brilliant game, absolutely love it. So chuffed to get that. There is a volume 2 of that, with another 4 different games on, but that runs quite pricey these days. It's well over 50 quid usually, and I'm not sure there's any of the games on it I'm particularly that bothered about. So although it'd be nice to have for completion purposes and have both in the set, because there's only 2 volumes, unless I saw it cheap I don't think I'd buy it really. And the last Saturn game we've got is Super Dimension Force Macross, which is a horizontal shooter primarily, though it's interspersed with like cutscenes, like CGI. You'll play a level and then there'll be like a CGI movie type video, and then you'll play another level, hence why the game comes across on 2 discs, because like I say, each level is interspersed with videos, like manga cartoons I suppose really. Obviously it's in Japanese so you can't really understand what's going on, but you can skip them anyway and you can just play the shooter levels. I mean, it's not the best shooter in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a decent fun shooter for the price it goes for. I don't think it's bad at all, to be honest. It's side scrolling. It's just got it's slightly strange where you don't really shoot stuff with your bullets. You're more or less shooting stuff with like a reticule where you fly over stuff and then fire missiles to kill most of the enemies. So it's kind of weird, but it's a decent little game I think, and for the money, like I say, I think well worth investigating. It's just nowhere near as good as the earlier Macross game on the Super Nintendo. That's a stunner. Nearly there, we've got 3 left, and we'll go PS1, and the first one we've got is Road and Track Overdrive and DX, which for the well informed of you, you'll know it's the Japanese version of Need for Speed, the original Need for Speed, which obviously started life on the 3DO and is spectacular on the 3DO. I've already got this on the Saturn, but the Japanese Saturn version is Nissan themed, and they're all Nissan cars, where this one is like the original 3DO version with all the standard supercars in it. But you've got more tracks on this than you have on the 3DO version. So I just wanted to, have it on something else other than the 3DO really. I still prefer the 3DO version if I'm honest, but it's nice to have the extra tracks. And it still plays a decent game, to be honest. Obviously it's of its time, and compared to modern races it's quite slow and pedestrian, but it felt so realistic at the time on the 3DO. It was just spectacular. The cars felt so heavy and lifelike. I don't know, it was just so different at the time. But anyway, I'm chuffed to have it back. Well, have it, not back. I'm chuffed to have it on the PS1. To go with the Saturn one. Like I say, that's all Nissan cars, which is, it's nice that they'll be different, I suppose. Right, last PS1 game. I've been after this one a while. Now I've had this one. This is quite an old pickup. It's a couple of months ago probably. But I'm just, like I say, I'm catching up with pickups. I'm getting closer to being up to date. Anyway, I've picked up Horned Owl. This is a Japanese game, obviously. I don't think there's a PAL version. I don't. Again, I can't remember if it came out American. But it's a light gun shooter. And I've been trying to get all the light gun games on the PS1, and I think this. I'm not going to say I've got them all because there's probably some obscure ones I'm not bothered about. But I think this is the last one I wanted of all the ones that I thought would be interesting to get. Really, really good this is. It's your traditional on-rails light gun shooter, much like whatever Virtual Cop, Time Crisis kind of game. But your enemies all, you know, they're like robotic type enemies. And this one's in lovely condition actually, even got the sticker sheet with it. Lovely coloured disc on Japanese PS1 games. So yeah, I was chuffed a bit to get that. From memory, I don't think it. I'm sure it was really cheap when I bought that. In fact, I don't know if I bought that from Japan. I might have done. I can't remember. It's been a while. Right, I've saved the best till last in this episode, and much like in the previous pickups, I'm going to dedicate this to David because I know how he loves this game so much. And you probably thought there couldn't be any more, Dave, after the last episode. But I stumbled across this and it was an instant must buy. And I've picked up Treasure Island Dizzy, but it's on the Atari Jaguar. Now this is obviously a more modern release. It's like a modern release by Atari age. Because there's quite a thriving sort of homebrew or, you know, modern release scene on the Jaguar. Obviously it was a flop at the time and there's only like 50 games released. However, Treasure Island Dizzy, when I saw this for a decent price on UK eBay, I thought I've got to buy it. Because you can import them from America, but they end up charging you with the postage and the imports charges and, you know, all the fees. You're getting off for 100 quid to buy one. So, you know, as much as I've wanted it, I've hung out and it's paid off. And full marks to the seller, he sent it in a box protector. But I'm going to undo it to show you because it's so nice. So I don't know if you collect Jaguar, Dave. I've never seen you show Jaguar. But I think you need to buy a console now because you can get brand new Dizzy games. And the beauty of it is, I mean, the box, I've got to say the box is stunning quality. It's a beautiful quality print on the box. Comes with a lovely colour manual, which the original Jag games didn't. But even better news, there are plans to release more Dizzy games on the Jag, Dave. You can already get Fantasy World Dizzy, and you can buy it in a nice green cartridge. But I was chuffed a bit when I opened this. I don't know if they still plan to release them, but there's 6 games altogether they plan to release on the Jag. Magic Land Dizzy, Spellbound Dizzy, Prince of the Oakfolk and Crystal Kingdom Dizzy. So that will be an awesome set to get. I'll just show you the cartridge because obviously standard Jag cards are like grey black, but this one comes in a lovely clear cartridge as well. And they've got the Atari embossed back like the originals. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But yeah, chuffed a bit to find that on UK eBay. I need Fantasy World Dizzy now. But like I say, it's about 900 quid if you buy it straight from Atari Age website. So I'm going to hang on a bit, I think, and hope to find one on UK eBay. But amazing. Not very often I buy a Jag game. There are a few I would like to find still, because although it's a much maligned system, I've got a lot of time for the Jag. I'm going to do a Jag video, I think, in the near future, like a Jag collection type thing. Nobody will watch it, but I fancy doing it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the last bit, Dave. Let me know in the comments, I'm sure you will. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you found that enjoyable, and see you soon. Sayonara.